Hello, my dear lovelies. It's me, Troopy, back with a video, and this video is going to be a mix between quite a few subjects that I want to talk to you guys about. And I'm going to talk about the planets, I'm going to talk about transits, I'm going to talk about aspects, I'm going to talk about moon cycles and lunar energy and all of that, just to give you guys more insights into the energies. This video is especially important to people who are empaths out there. And if you don't know what an empath is, I urge you to look it up. Long story short, an empath is just someone who is very sensitive to energy and can feel other people's energy, and who is very affected by the energy that is around them and the energy in the atmosphere and the energy everywhere. All right. And the first, because I'm sorry guys, I'm looking at some notes here because I had to write down notes to remember everything that I'm going to talk about. So the first thing I want to talk about is the powers that be. And a lot of you guys, when you hear the powers that be, you automatically think of a whole bunch of men in suits sitting around a table who run the world and who are super rich and make all the decisions for humanity, and those are the powers that be. And wrong, guess again. Those are not the powers that be, trust me. The powers that be are the planets and the higher cosmic energies which cause change to happen upon this planet. Okay, I don't care who you are on the earth, I don't care how much status you have, I don't care how much money you have, I don't care how much pull you have, whatever, you still have to bow down to these energies, because these transits and this energy that's going on in the cosmos dealing with the planets are what cause events to happen on this earth. Anytime there's a shift in energy, there's a shift on earth. As above, so below. You know what I mean? When something's happening in the cosmos, it's reflected here on earth. And, certain archetypes and things play out. And what the planets are basically are, the planets are just archetypical energies, okay? You guys need to deeply, deeply understand this. And basically, there's 9 planets, so there's like 9 archetypes. And I'll probably do another video going deep into the archetypes, archetypical energy, and how they play themselves out through human beings, and how they resolve their issues and stuff through us. But basically, they're the archetypical energies. So, you have Mars, he's the warrior, all right? He's the warrior energy. You have Venus, which is basically the love energy. She's the goddess of love. She's the goddess of attraction, the goddess of beauty. You have Gemini, who is the messenger. He is the communicator. He is basically the messenger, the person that delivers the word, the person that delivers information, who records information. The person who communicates between the gods, I guess, if that's what you want to call it. Cancer, or the moon, is the mother energy. It's the energy of growth. It's the energy of birth and rebirth. Also, the moon is the energy of death and resurrection as well, which I will talk about in this video. But basically, yes, the moon represents the great mother energy, which is also a very deep transformational energy. The sun represents the king. You know what I mean? The sun is the center of everything. He is the king of existence. He is the one that sits on the throne, okay? And then what else we have? We already did Venus. We already did Mars. Pluto is basically the king of the underworld. He's the underworld king, the underworld god, and he's, the god of death. And, he rules the underworld, the king of the underworld, the king of darkness, in a sense. And Jupiter is kind of like the king god as well. He's more of like the god of wisdom. He's like an overseer, so he's kind of like a grandfather type of energy. He's like the father of wisdom, like the grandfather of wisdom, bestowing wisdom upon you. And wisdom obviously helps you to expand your life. Saturn is like the old grumpy grandfather. So Jupiter would be like the jovial grandfather. Here, you can have this, you can have that. And Saturn's like the old grumpy grandfather who doesn't want to be bothered with you and sets the rules and is super stern and puts everything into place, and you have to follow his rules and don't ask him any questions. Uranus is the revolutionary. He's the one that goes against the grain. He's the one that, doesn't listen to anybody, takes his own path, does his own way. So he is the one that, you know, breaks free from limitations and things like that. So he's the liberator in a lot of the sense. And then Neptune is just the god of illusion. He's kind of like a trickster type of god. He brings illusions into your life. He tricks you. He makes you believe things that aren't true. But he's also a god of high spirituality. So he just appears that way in the earthly realm, but in the spiritual realm, it's not so. So anyways, I took way too long to go over that. But anyways, these are all archetypes that play out on Earth. And what you need to understand is, if you're just now getting into astrology or whatever, you need to pay attention to the transits and to what's going on in the cosmos on a daily basis, because every month or just every day, all the planets are in a certain sign, but then the planets also make aspects to each other, and depending upon what aspect they are with each other, they can either be in our harmonious aspect with each other, meaning that they're getting along, or they could be going to war with each other. Like if they're in a square or an opposition, they could be fighting, and that means the energies are going at it. It's kind of like a discordant energy. And so when the planets are like in a square or opposition or something like that is major, especially with the heavy hitter planets, like the larger planets, it can cause a lot of tension down here on Earth. And if it's a long aspect, like if the planets are squaring for a long amount of time, or there's a grand cardinal cross going on or something like that, then all of the energies are battling. Basically, they're all like going head up, trying to defeat each other or trying to get their way. And the battle is happening inside of us. The battle is happening inside of human beings. That's why I say that these archetypes play themselves out through us, because Earth is kind of like the world stage. You know what I mean? So when these things are happening, and just to tell you guys a story about me, like before I knew about astrology and like the daily transits and things like that, I'm an empath myself. So I would always like feel things, tension in the air, or I would be happy one day and then the next day I would just feel super irritated and I just couldn't get anything done. And I was just like, why do I feel like this? Like, I feel like I want to do something, but I just can't do it. And I never knew why it was. I would just go on with my daily life just thinking, oh, I feel terrible today and I don't know why. And once I started getting into astrology, I realized that, I would have realized that, oh, there's a major square going on today, or Pluto is squaring Uranus, and it's causing all these crazy things to happen in my life, and it's causing all this upheaval and all this transformation. And so knowing the transits and knowing the position of the planets can really help your life, because once you get a forecast, which there's tons of amazing astrologers on YouTube that give amazing forecasts. One of the astrologers that I watch all the time is the Leo King. So shout out to him. He has the most amazing forecast, and the way that he explains the energy is just immaculate. It's just right on point. Okay. He nails it every time. And there's lots of others too. But they give you like a daily forecast or a weekly forecast, just telling you what the energies are doing this week, so you can prepare yourself and know, like, okay, these next couple of days are going to be kind of rough. You know what I mean? There's a lot of squares going on. Or for the positive side of things, you can know, oh wow, there's a grand trine going on or something like that. And a grand trine is supposed to be like really harmonious energy. So you know that, ooh, I can get a lot done today, or my mind is going to be expanded today, or today's just going to be very positive. And so you can capitalize off of that. And then when you really start getting deep into it, you can figure out when the planets are making aspects to your personal natal planets, and all, it just goes deeper and deeper and deeper. But I really urge you guys to start getting into the daily transits and things like that, just to help you understand where the energy is going. Also with the retrogrades, we just came out of a 5-planet retrograde recently, and that has completely changed my life. I've went over so many things in my past, and I've revised a lot of things in my life, and it's really put me back on the right track. And so the retrogrades really have a huge impact on your life as well, because retrogrades just cause you to redo and re-go over things from your past. And so really the planets are really controlling the energy in the air. They control the atmosphere. They control the everyday feeling, because if you really pay attention to vibes and you're really in tune, you are going to notice that every day doesn't feel the same. You're going to notice that you feel different day by day. You're going to notice that some days you feel like you can get a whole lot of stuff done and you feel really ambitious. And then other days you just feel like chilling out or just watching TV, or maybe you want to have some wine or something like that. That may be a day when like Neptune is pretty prevalent. Or you know, you may have days where you just want to go out to eat and just, you know, do feel good things. Maybe go get your hair done, maybe go get a facial. That may be when Venus is very prevalent and making good aspects or something like that, or in a good sign. So people don't even realize how connected you are to the planets and the transits. Like, you really don't understand. It's all going on a subconscious level. You know, most people are not aware of it, but once you become aware of it, you just really see how true it really is. And so I want to talk about aspects because, and I'm rolling my eyes because I'm just so sick of the astrology community, like putting things in two categories, as if you have this going on, if you have these aspects in astrology, it's bad. If you have these aspects, then it's good. Or if this planet is good and this planet is bad. Let me tell you something. Yes, there are planets that are harder to deal with. There are planets that are more strenuous or put more pressure on you. But the outcome of what those planets give to you, the gifts that are bestowed upon you once you make it through whatever lesson that plan is trying to offer you, are tremendous and can actually put you above and atop of some of those people that have easier planets or easier aspects. So don't ever look at your natal chart and see you have a whole bunch of dark planets or dark signs or whatever, or just a lot of hard aspects, and just think you're doomed for life. Because I used to think that way about my chart, and you know, after studying astrology for so long, I really realized that that's not true at all. It really depends upon the individual. It depends upon your soul evolution. And really, what I believe is that we chose our charts before we came to this life. And I really feel like we chose, you know, the aspects that we were going to have. And how I look at it is like school. You know, I look at it like, you know, people with the easier aspects who don't really have any challenges in their chart, you know, they may be in the lower levels of school. They may be in middle school, or they may be, you know, maybe even in high school, or elementary school, some of them. But if you have a whole bunch of hard aspects, it's like you're going to university or something. You're going to college. And there's people that take the easier courses because they don't really feel like stressing themselves out, you know, this semester, or, you know, for the school year. They don't really want a job that's that hard. So they go ahead and take the easier aspects. They're like, I just want to breeze through this life. I don't really want to deal with a lot. And then there's the people that want to get to a high position in this life or in the afterlife or whatever life. And, you know, they want to challenge themselves. They want to challenge their soul this lifetime. And so they choose harder aspects, which harder classes. They're going for a higher degree. Maybe they're getting their master's degree this lifetime. Maybe they're, you know, they're going for the gold. And so if you want a high degree, you have to take harder classes, okay? And that's really how I look at astrology and with the hard aspects. I'm just, you know, to me, I look at it like, you know, the advanced souls do have the hardest aspects, you know, because, yeah, they're challenging themselves this life. They want to overcome something. They want to test themselves. They want to gain something. They want to gain whatever wisdom or whatever comes with that challenge. And so just to talk about the transit or the aspects really quick, you know, the sextile is basically it brings opportunity to your life. So if you have a lot of sextiles and stuff, you will easily have a lot of opportunity dealing with that planet. It'll be easy for you to get the things of that planet. You know what I mean? You'll be able to easily see the benefits of whatever that planet has to offer and easily go after that. The trine is basically what comes natural to you, and it's so natural to you that you don't even really realize that you have it. Other people realize it in you though, which could be a major positive for you, because some people will look at you if you have a lot of trines or just a trine and they'll be like, wow, that person's really has it together. You know, they communicate well, or you know, they present themselves well, or you know, whatever. They're really good business minded or really good communicators. And to you, it's just like a natural part of your personality. So you don't even realize that it's even a gift that you even have. You just have it so naturally. And so that can make you really come off as a person that's like really impressive, because people can kind of look at you like, wow, how do they do that so effortlessly? You know what I mean? So yeah, the trine is a very nice aspect. What else? The conjunction. Now, the conjunction depends upon what planets it is. Like if you have two of the, you know, more masculine or like more of the darker planets conjunct each other, it could give you like a really dark energy. But whatever it is, it will amplify that energy. So it's two energies in conjunction with each other. So that energy is going to be very amplified in your energy field. And people are definitely going to notice it. But it can also be something that's a little bit overpowering too, depending on what planets that are involved. But if it's some of the lighter planets, then yeah, that could definitely come into your benefit, you know, having a conjunction, because that means that the energies are acting really powerfully together. Now, an opposition is like a tug of war effect. So if you have two planets in opposition, that just means that those planets are going back and forth within your consciousness, to where sometimes you're with this planet and other times you're with this planet. Sometimes you're with this planet and other times you're with this planet. Now, let me explain something to you guys, and this is very important. All right, because a lot of people, because of our ignorance, you know, we judge people and stuff based off of their personality. Oh, this person, she's this way one day and then the next day she acts totally different. Or, you know, she acts a certain way with me but acts a certain way with the other person. And sometimes with people with oppositions, yeah, they're going to act like that sometimes, because they are going back and forth between two energies within themselves that are opposite. And so some people may view them as fake, because they're like, sometimes they act like this and other times they act like that. You know what I mean? And so with the opposition over time, usually after they get older, probably like after their 30s or so, then they start to integrate those energies together. Because you have to realize with the oppositions, even though they're opposite, they're still in an element that is harmonious with the other one. So once they integrate that in together, it could be very, very powerful, because that means that they'll have both ends of the spectrum. And it also means that they're both in the same mode. So either they're both in cardinal, they're both in fixed, or they're both in mutable, which could be very, very, very powerful for them, because that gives them double energy. That gives them double. So when you're a balanced being, then that's Mayat. That means you have it all together. It just takes a while for you to balance them. That's what the opposition is about, okay? It's just, you know, in your younger life, you're like this, 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 and then, you know, eventually you level out. That's all that is, okay? Now the squares. To me, the squares give the most opportunity, and the squares make for the biggest go-getters. And what the squares is yes, you are going to come across a lot of hardship in your life, okay? You're going to come across a lot of obstacles. Things are not going to go your way a lot of the time, okay? And you're going to cause certain reactions in other people, and life is kind of going to be a battle for you. All right, because the square energy has a lot of the Mars energy, and the opposition energy has a lot of the Libra energy, like can't make up your mind, don't know what you want to do. Now, So it's a very combative with the squares. If you have a square, basically, if you have a square going on, there's like a constant tension within you because two of your planets are at cross purposes. They want different things, and the things that they want are so different that you don't even know who the hell you are. Okay, like you want two things, but they're so different from each other. And so that could be very, very hard, especially like, for instance, a Scorpio and Leo are square each other. Now just look at this. If you have a square between Scorpio and Leo, who is Leo? Leo wants to be out. Leo wants to be seen. Leo's sociable. Leo likes the attention on them. But then you have Scorpio, who's hella private and doesn't want to be seen and hella undercover and doesn't really mess with a lot of people like that. You know, he's the king of the underworld. And so that's like the sun, that's like light and darkness right there. It's like one side of you wants to be seen and recognized, and then another side of you hates being recognized. So it's always an internal battle going on within you to where you don't even know what you want, and it can cause so much stress and tension in your life, and it takes a long time to deal with these energies. But like I said, it usually gets better with the hard aspects as you get older. But let me just tell you something. Okay, some of the most successful people in the world, okay, the most ambitious people that have achieved the most in life have a lot of square energy. Like a lot of them have even grand cardinal crosses where they got 4 squares going on between all 4 planets squared up. Okay, and they're on billionaire status right now. Why? Because that inner tension within them, those hardships, those things that were so hard to get over, it caused them to keep fighting for whatever it is that they want. Like they didn't give up. They had the drive to keep going. To whereas if you had one of the easier aspects, things may be so easy to you that you don't even take the time to even try to overcome those things, you know, or I'm sorry, not overcome them, but you don't even take the time to try to achieve something just because things come to you so easily. So yeah, things come to you so easily and you may get to a certain level because things just naturally flow to you. But a person with a lot of squares is going to try even harder. Like they're going to continue to try, and it's going to take them a little bit longer to get there, but eventually they will surpass, you know, the person who just had everything handed to them their whole life. It's the same thing. It's like starting from the bottom, going to the top, some going from nothing to something type of thing, to where, or just being born poor and being born rich. When you're born rich and you have everything, you don't appreciate being rich. You don't even try to be anything because you're like, oh, whatever, I'm rich for the rest of my life. Why do I need to try to make something of myself? Why do I need to try to create my own business or be somebody different when I already have everything handed to me? As opposed to a poor kid who grew up in the gutter, who grew up in the slums, who wants that life so bad and wants a better life for them, their family, and even though the odds are all against them, they're going to try their hardest and never give up until they make it to the top. So that's just the difference between the easier aspects and the hard aspects. So this video is getting kind of long, so I'm going to do a separate video for the moon cycles. And ladies, you are going to want to watch this, so stay tuned for that.